Okay, time to get the shoe. So I'm going to go into solo mode. Symmetry's on. We're going to find a base color, so the swatch goes off. Let's take the color swatch all the way to the side. And let's start up at white. Start to go a little dirty. There we go. Fill object. Fill object, fill object. Set RGB to 100 and then fill object. Set that RGB back down. Okay, so now we need to establish some of the dirt, all of that. I'm not going to separate out the individual pieces. I'm painting the body first. So by body I mean this piece right in here and all of these sub-pieces. Not the sole, not the smaller parts there, not the strips. I'm not doing those. I just want to start with the broadest, biggest thing that has the most impact. So we're going to take that up. Color spray, we're going to go into alpha 51 and let's see what color variation does. I'm increasing that, and I need to go into stroke. I'm going to set my color variation to 0.1. It's too high here. And I might need to go even lower, 0.05. I don't know if I want that orange or if I want this. I think I just need the orange but more desaturated. Yeah, I think more desaturation is the ideal approach. I think that's looking okay. Yeah. Let's get some cavities going on. How many polygons are we at? I'm going to divide that one more time. It's actually at 7 million. I'm not going to divide that one more time. That's doing quite nice. So mask by cavity. Maybe better to go down one subdivision level. Mask by cavity. Yeah, that's better. Blur it. View mask off. Control click to invert. And now we can come in, take a slightly darker color, and just say fill object. Remember to adjust your RGB intensity. Yeah, that gives me some nice variation. And let's go in and do that again. So I'm going to go lower my blur even further, mask by cavity, invert, undo the view mask. I'm going to increase my RGB intensity because now this is a much smaller component. And there we go. Just really nail the separation and the crevasses there. And then I want to keep them intact, so I'm going to invert them. while pulling my color information from them, and maybe even this alpha 58, and just start to pull. It's not that nice. That alpha's not a good one. It's good for dirt, but I'm not there yet. So let's go with alpha 51. Let's turn view mask off. Okay, yeah. Okay, crevasse. Darken the tongue. Okay, and alright. So I got some randomization, some dirtiness. It's all very simple. And remember, this is the key thing to think about. We've got all these little dots. Now we need to go in and add some lines to break it up. Then we need to go in and add some other shapes. So you don't want to use just that one alpha. So now I'm going to come in with alpha 58. And we can either use this to pull some of the white back in, or I can pull just some extra dirt. I'm going to pull a little extra dirt in there, just getting things, yeah, like that. Now I'm going to start to pull some of the nice colors back. Let's go all the way. Give it a little bit of some prismatic tone too. So I added a little bit of yellow in there. And you can see, starting to break it up. I don't want to lose that mask along the cavity, so let me undo or redo that mask. Really get the edge here and the edge on the other side as well. And then I'm going to come in, I want a different alpha. Let's try alpha 59 and dot stroke here, and whoa, that's too much. Just something to hit some edges. That's not that nice though. Alpha 15. Alpha 15 will work. Gotta lower the intensity. And then back into the spray stroke, alpha here, and pull in some of that light. And let's go dot stroke. And then it'll be a little more specific. Yeah, I'm just looking. Okay. What happens if we do a little blue? Okay, almost ready to move on to these other parts. I kind of like the pattern that we've got there. We've missed some of the inside because it's a little hard to get to. Okay, now I'm going to come in with dots. We're pretty straightforward what we're doing here. I'm going to go with a dark, dark, dark stripe, and why don't we just use blue? Nice and lightly. You may want to clear your mask for this. Otherwise you're going to get exactly what I just had, which is those hard edges, and so that's not going to be all that nice. And both sides. Okay, starting that. I'm going to repeat that back here. And I think I want to lighten this in the back. I don't want that to be that dark. So let me take a look at a couple of other options. Let's say I want to set it about just a little bit lighter. If I come in there, you know, I got to be careful how much of it I select and all of that. But if I go in and I set my brush, my poly paint mode to lighten, then ZBrush is going to lighten any color that is darker in value than what I have selected in the swatch. So I can actually be really, loose right now. I don't have to worry about anything. Once I've painted that in, now it's just it's going to completely ignore the areas that are lighter than my brush, lighter than my color swatch. So I don't have to sweat that. But be careful, because inverting that doesn't quite work the same way. So I think that was too light. So let's try this one. Okay. There we go. Just a slight difference. Let's change our poly paint mode back. I'm just painting this in real quick. It's just a very simple stroke. See if I even like that. Part of me does. I'm going to fade it though. This is one of those things that could get easily affected by dirt. It's really not getting affected by dirt right now, so as well as having the color kind of taken off of it. And then the soles, so that's going to be pretty straightforward. Just make that dark. Although it's probably going to be, well, let's just make it dark. Okay, I think we're in okay shape. Let's damage the stripes a little bit. And actually what we need is flakes where the color is coming off. So we need these cracks. Really small. And actually we need to invert that alpha, so I'm going to go transform and invert. That'll be nicer. You know, it scatters a little bit at the edges, and there we go. I think that's enough to simulate what we want to simulate. Yeah, and it's not a bad idea to do all the way around. And the sole, get that established. That is going to require alpha off dots, and be a little careful. A little bit more careful than that. ZBrush is pretty good at sensing these edges though, so you're in pretty good hands. C to sample the color and unpaint, sample it and keep going. Alright, about 23 minutes in on that whole thing, and we've done a fair bit of work to get this looking a certain way with a certain level of damage, and adding you know, some believability with cracked edges and things. A lot of it's just taking your alphas and really massaging the quality of everything. So everything done and said, I think those shoes are actually probably the lightest part on this guy. So I'm going to grab some dark hues here, and we're going to really damage this. And let me set that focal shift really hard. Okay, call it a day with that. So let's select topmost subtool, turn our floor on, and let's just go into our material, set our wax all the way to 0, and do a little best preview render. There we go. That's the beginning stage. We've got our zombie sculpted. We've textured it. We've textured it all manually, which I think is really important to just learn the necessity, or learn the workflows and processes for that. And the next thing we would be looking at is, how to render this, how to pose it, all of that stuff. But at this point, we're in good shape with it.